Hello guys, good morning. So today we are going to be going through a full day in the life on competition prep. It is October 16th and I've been prepping since the beginning of January. So I've been prepping for 42 weeks. So I showed you guys what I was eating several months ago and I showed you my refeed days, but now we're like deep. We're in the final leg of prep and I wanted to show you sort of what that looks like. So it's kind of late right now. It's 9:30. I just woke up. I have 2 cups of coffee with stevia and almond milk. Try to wake up a little bit, and then I am going to take my yohimbine and go for a very long walk. The only thing that makes this day different than any other day on prep is that it's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays I check in with my coach. So after I have my coffee, I will throw my suit on and record my quarter turns, and then we're gonna go for that walk, and I'll take you with me. Okay, I'm gonna try to hold this steady while I talk to you guys. Every morning, if it's nice enough outside, I go for a walk for about 60 to 90 minutes. I try to get 8,000 steps in before noon. So that's about how long it takes for me to do that. This has been my main form of cardio this whole prep, is just walking. So now it's starting to get colder. It feels like it's like 45 degrees outside right now. If it was raining, I do have a treadmill in my living room and I'll just do that and watch some Netflix, but I prefer this. It really sets my mind right for the whole day and I get to feel like I'm participating in the world a little bit, which is something you don't feel a ton of on contest prep. So I am just leaving my street now and I'll probably end up walking probably like 4 miles by the time I get home, and then we will have meal 1. So while I'm out for these walks, I like to listen to podcasts to keep myself engaged. I listen to a lot of fitness podcasts. My favorite is the 3DMJ podcast, and also the Revive Stronger podcast is great as well. I also listen to some storytelling podcasts like This American Life and Serial and true crime stuff because I'm big into that as well. So you will see as you continue to watch this video that I split my day up into 4 shifts, and those 4 shifts are also marked by the 4 meals that I have throughout the day. So this and my first meal will be shift 1. So I wake up, go for a walk, and have my meal 1. Shift 2 is going to the gym and doing my weightlifting and my formal cardio, and then coming home and eating my post-workout meal. Shift 3 is actually where I put in the majority of my work. In the off season, I work a ton, but right now, because my brain capacity is just diminished and I want to make sure that my clients get the absolute best from me, I've stopped taking on new clients for the past couple months. So I'm able to get the vast majority of my client work done between the hours of 4 and 8 o'clock. So I work straight through, no breaks, from 4 to 8 on client work, and then I'll eat dinner at 8. And sometimes there's some client work I have to wrap up after that, but sometimes I'm able to get it all in that time right now. And then the 4th shift is usually doing posing practice or any sort of skin prep I have to do at the end of the night, chores that need to be done around the house, and my final sweet treat of the day. 8,000 almost exactly. Okay, so I'm home. It is 12:05 and I'm gonna start making my first meal. A few minutes late, I got home at about 11:35, sat down, did some work on finances, and also made a social media post, which takes a little bit of time. So now I'm gonna make breakfast. So I'm gonna do 6 slices of the Eve's Canadian bacon in the air fryer, and then I am going to be using, this is just a generic brand, it's a sugar-free maple and brown sugar, 1 packet of oatmeal. It has 19 grams of carbs in it, but it's really small. So what I do to bulk that up is I am gonna, this is my zucchini nub, I'm gonna add 50 grams of grated zucchini in there, and then also 50 grams of diced Granny Smith apples, and I'm gonna be adding cinnamon, ginger, clove, nutmeg, vanilla, and I'm also gonna be having a cup of hot tea, probably some kind of black tea with a little bit of stevia in it because I'm still really chilly from being outside that whole time. Yeah, that's one of the things about contest prep, especially at this time of year, especially in New England, you are always cold. So while that's cooking, I'm also gonna take this. It's a new supplement I'm trying. It's by De Novo Nutrition. It's called Suppress. And what I had been taking up to this point was 5-HTP, hi Joey, about 600 milligrams a day to help with appetite suppression, because it seems like that has the strongest research for appetite suppressing. This is also 5-HTP. It also has capsicum, which is from peppers, and fiber from cognac root. So I imagine it will work pretty similarly, and it was about the same price. So I take 2 of these about 10 to 15 minutes before each of my 3 main meals. So there it is. There's meal 1. Tea, Canadian bacon, my oatmeal, and then this is, I've probably mentioned this before, Walden Farms pancake syrup. You know, it's a diet food. It's not something you should have all year, but I started implementing it about 2/3 of the way through prep, and now I have it every day. I actually dip my Canadian bacon in the pancake syrup. It's delicious. Okay, so I'm gonna eat my breakfast, and I'm also going to take some supplements. I'm gonna take 3 Testa omega-3 fatty acids. I love this stuff. I attribute so much of my healing of my frozen shoulder to taking this every day. True Supplements multivitamin with greens, because you'll see I'm only eating zucchini as vegetables right now. I need some greens to make sure that I'm hitting all my micronutrient goals. Vitamin D3, a vegan version, zinc, and a B complex. And I take this with food just so that I don't get nauseous at all. So I'm gonna eat. It's one of my favorite times of the day. All right, so we are on our way to the gym right now. Giacomo's driving, don't worry. And my gym has a strict no filming policy. So I'm gonna see what I can get, but it probably won't be much. So what I've been doing is I'm doing a 4-day full body split. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, I hit my full body. And the reason for that is because when I split it up into body parts, my first set is really good and really strong. But by the time I get to like the 3rd exercise, the 4th exercise, it just doesn't feel as good. Doesn't feel as strong or solid, so I've split the volume up over 4 days. So today I am doing Romanian deadlifts, overhead press, close grip pull down, lying leg curls, the pullover machine, tricep extensions, single leg extensions, and a cable crunch. So if I can catch any of that on film, I will, but like I said, they're super strict and they hate bodybuilders, so we'll see what I can do. I got that done, and I'm very excited to have the lifting portion done. Now I'm about to reward myself with some Netflix time. 25 minutes on the elliptical. Currently watching Haunting of Hill House, which is one of the best horror series I've ever seen, so I'm actually excited about this. 25 minutes, let's go. Okay, Okay, so I'm home from the gym, just about 4, and I am going to make my next meal. So I am gonna have 110 grams of Beyond Meat beefy crumbles, 150 grams of zucchini. I'm just gonna cook it in my cast iron skillet with garlic, onion, salt, pepper, and a little cooking spray. But this is the cool thing I wanted to show you. So I've showed you these wraps in other videos, but these are the pita breads. So it's the Joseph Flax, Oat Bran, and Whole Wheat pita breads. Each one has 10 grams of carbs, 6 grams of protein, and 1.5 grams of fat. And I'm gonna make chips out of it. So the other ones, I think you can figure out how to cook those on your own. But this, I wanted to show you. I'm gonna cut this into pita chip shapes, and then I cut the ends off, and I'm gonna pull all the pieces apart so that I have all of these pita chip shapes. I don't know if you guys like pita chips, but I love crunchy food. I like food with texture, and especially this deep in prep, I like food that takes me a little while to eat. Otherwise, your meal is gone in 3 bites. I don't know, it's just a little way that I sort of trick myself into thinking that I'm eating a little bit more than I actually am. So I have made these in the past in the toaster oven. You just have to keep a really close eye on them. Now, I do them in the air fryer. So I'm gonna take about half of them and put them in the pan. And then I'm just taking some cooking spray and spritzing them. And I am going to sprinkle a little tiny bit of salt, some of my stevia. So I've showed you guys before, we get the big tub of Now brand stevia because it doesn't have any fillers. And I just sprinkle a little bit of that on there, and cinnamon. Look at how we go through cinnamon. It's crazy. Pro tip for prep, have backups for everything, because it sucks to run out of stuff when you're eating very specific foods. So I just put the rest in, and I'm just gonna do that exact same thing again. And then I'm gonna put it in the air fryer at 370 degrees for 4 minutes. Very important, 4 minutes, and at 2 minutes, I'm just gonna shake it. All right, so I'm gonna put that in. I'm gonna cook the Beyond Meat in the microwave because I want this food fast, and the zucchini on the stove. And I'm also going to make a blended iced coffee. Okay, so my camera died, and it might die again, but I wanted to show you Beyond Meat with sriracha and low sugar ketchup, my zucchini, and my chips. Ready? Listen. So good. Very excited. And then this iced coffee, it's a cup of coffee, a half a cup of almond milk, fill it with ice, and then I'm gonna put a 1/4 teaspoon of xanthan gum. This is gonna make it kind of creamy. I'm gonna blend it in the bullet, sit down and eat, and then start my actual workday. All right, so here is where I'm gonna spend the majority of the rest of my day. This is my office, and in conjunction with prep, this is the most important part of my life, my job and coaching people. And I touched upon this earlier in the day, that probably since, I wanna say around mid-August, I made the decision to not take on any new clients. So I didn't drop any of the clients that I have, but I knew that if I continued to take on any more new people right now, that they just wouldn't be getting my best. It really, really is important to me that my clients don't feel the pressure that prep puts on me. So what this means is when there was natural drop off of coaching, I just didn't refill those spots. So if it came down to it, my clients would get me more, like if I had to miss out on cardio because I had extra work to do, that's what I would do right now. They are more important to me than, you know, getting in an excess amount of cardio. But right now, I'm in this like sweet spot with my coaching work right now where I'm able to get the majority of what I need done between 4 and 8. And sometimes I'll eat dinner. I usually eat dinner at 8, and I'll do another couple hours of work after that. But right now, I can do most of my work between 4 and 8. Now that's between 5 and 7 days a week. So if I'm doing it every single day, it's still 30 hours worth of client work. And then of course there's other work that goes into it outside of that administrative stuff that sort of is like, you know, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. But when it comes to actually, you know, writing my clients' programs and doing their updates throughout the week, that requires my full undivided attention while I'm doing it. So if you've noticed that the YouTube videos are a little bit less frequent, my social media posts are a little bit less frequent, it's because this needs to take precedence. This is my passion, this is my career, and it's also how I make a living. So it's very important that I do that. So this is where I'm gonna spend the next 4 hours of time, and maybe a little bit after that. We'll see how the workload looks today. All right, guys, so that was a very productive 4.5 hours. It's 8:30 right now, so a little later than I usually have dinner, but I'm about to cook some dinner right now. You'll notice that I eat a lot of the same foods over and over at this point. There's not a lot of variety. So I'm gonna do 6 slices of the Canadian bacon, 150 grams of zucchini, same way I cooked it for lunch, and then I'm gonna do 120 grams of potato. And what I do is I slice it and I boil it for a few minutes till it gets soft, and then quickly pan fry it and put some low sugar ketchup on it. I use garlic and onion powder on all of these things. So I'm gonna get that started because this dinner takes about 20 minutes to make start to finish. So I'm gonna start that now, and I'll talk to you guys a bit maybe while I'm doing it. So I am just cutting stuff up to make my dinner, but I figured I'd talk to you guys a little bit while I'm doing that. You know, I've mentioned a few times that I'm hesitant to show what I eat this deep into contest prep. The same way I did with one of my earlier what I eat in a day videos. I don't want anybody to think that this is the normal way that a vegan eats, because it's really not. Vegans that are not 42 weeks into a competition prep can eat a huge variety of foods, and they should. And I usually do when I'm not in prep. But the sport that I've chosen to participate in is a very extreme sport, and it takes a lot for me to be able to get lean. And one thing that I've noticed with the explosion of social media and influencers and things like that is that a lot of the people who, I don't know, maybe not get the most attention, maybe that's not the best way to put it, but a lot of the people who are kind of the loudest seem to be people who genetically have very fast metabolisms, and they get to get very lean on a lot of calories, and like, more power to them. I wish I was one of those people, but I'm not. So the fact of the matter is that in order for me to get competition lean, my calories have to get pretty low. So I'm around 10 calories per pound right now, and I weigh 122 pounds at the moment, down from 146 where I started. So you do the math there. You know, people shouldn't be living on 10 calories per pound. It's just what I need to do to be competitive on stage. And I think it's important to be real about that. And the reason why I say that is because with this explosion of social media, influencers and things like that, a lot of people are, you know, trying to eat what these people with really speedy metabolisms are eating, and they're not making progress, and then they feel bad like they're doing something wrong, when in actuality, they probably just have a pretty average metabolism like I do. But if you just look on the internet, it seems like if you're not dieting on a zillion calories, you're doing something wrong. And I just want to let people know that no, there's plenty of us out here who do have to get pretty extreme in order to get stage lean. There's nothing wrong with that. It's harder in its own way, but everybody has their own challenges, and it's important to remember that. You know, somebody who does have a really fast metabolism, for example, probably struggles to put on muscle a little bit more than somebody with a slower metabolism like I do. So just something that I wanted to point out. You don't start out the gate with an extreme diet for no reason. And if you're making things hard just for the sake of making things hard, then you're an idiot. But if you are following an intelligent, progressive approach and you have to get extreme at the end, then you have to get extreme at the end. And if that's not something you want to do, bodybuilding probably isn't the sport for you. And it's not the sport for most people, as I talked about in my Is Bodybuilding Healthy video, which I will link right here. So let me know what you guys think about that. That's it for me. I'm gonna keep cooking and eat, and I'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, so that's dinner. There's my potatoes, and we have a special guest.
What's up?
There he is. He hasn't been around all day, but
Yeah.
he does still exist here. Hey guys, so it is 10:40, and I actually ended up doing a little bit more client work tonight. I had a lot of messages going on back and forth, so Tuesdays are usually a pretty busy work day for me, so I'd say I ended up putting in about 6 hours of just straight client work today. So normally right now, or normally around 9 o'clock, I would do some posing practice, but because it's so late, I'm not gonna do it tonight, but I wanted to show you where I do it and what that looks like in my house now. All right, so this is my dining room. Normally there is a table and chairs here. You've probably seen it in other videos, but I've cleared it out. Like that's the table over there. And we have some extra Halloween decorations around here. In case you guys haven't picked up, we really, really love Halloween around here. But I cleared this out and I have this big mirror here and I will practice my poses here. Use this space to practice walking. And then I also have another mirror that I will pull out and put on this wall so that I can see my back as I'm posing. So I'll usually do that for about 15 or 20 minutes every night that I'm able to. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make my famous protein cookies that I make every single day. I've made them every single night on prep. I will put the recipe up here, but they are PB2, Vital Wheat Gluten, cocoa powder, baking powder, stevia, vanilla extract, and however many chocolate chips I can fit into my macros. I also make a cup of chamomile tea with some stevia and almond milk, and sometimes I will show you a secret weapon of mine on contest prep at night when I'm really hungry because I cannot go to sleep hungry. All right, these guys right here, they are sugar-free Jellos that are accidentally vegan. You can find them at the dollar store. I mean, they're full of like colors and sweeteners and stuff you wouldn't want to eat all the time, but when you're really hungry and you have no macros left, these are vegan and they have 1 gram of carbs per cup. So there's my prep secret weapon there. All right guys, so I'm gonna eat this plate of cookies and my tea and probably chill in front of the TV for the next half an hour to an hour or so. But for those of you counting along, today's macros were 105 carb, 25 fat, and 140 protein, which puts me at about 1,150 calories for today, which is my low days, and I do still have refeed days. We hit our 11,000 step goal, got in 25 minutes of cardio, got in my training, and got in all of my client work for the day. Only thing we missed out on today was posing, but this is what pretty much every single day looks like from here to the end, with the exception of peak week. And we'll talk about peak week more in another video. So if you guys like these videos, go ahead and like it, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more like it, and if there's anything you want to see, let me know in the comments down below, and I will talk to you soon.